Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's stories, OP refuses to miss work to take care of her stepson, but then her husband does something horrible. And OP's brother-in-law keeps making mean comments about her, but this time she won't keep quiet. But did she go too far? Am I the idiot for driving my stepson to my husband's friend's wedding after he expected me to stay home and watch him? My husband's friend got married a few days ago. I couldn't go because of work, and my husband said the wedding is child-free, and his family were all attending. So he asked me to take time off work and stay home with my stepson. I already said no, and suggested he get a babysitter, but he said no babysitters, because my stepson tends to act out with them and cause troubles, but he adores me and we both get along well. I told my husband work is important and I can't take time off. He begged and pleaded, but I said it wouldn't happen. He said fine, he'd figure it out. But on the day of the wedding, I discovered that he left my stepson home. I called his phone and he answered telling me to miss work and just stay with my stepson. Excuse me? I said no, and he needed to deal with the situation he caused. He said no. I threatened to drop his son off at the wedding, and he told me to suck it up. He said what? I got dressed and drove my stepson to the wedding. The second my husband saw us, he went off on me. I told him I was late and was about to leave. He said I can't leave his son there, they'd both be kicked out, but I turned around and walked out after telling him it's his problem. I left to work, and after I got back later, he blew up at me, saying I failed to do one thing he asked, and behaved pathetically. I said that he put me in this situation and I was feeling helpless and pushed. He said that he couldn't believe I was willing to dish my stepson, and said that I'm not stepmom material, and have no sense of responsibility whatsoever. We haven't been on good terms since then, and he keeps on blaming me that he had to leave the wedding and go home with his son. Oh my God. Your husband is pathetic, an a-hole, a bad father and a bad husband, and I'm also going to put a bad friend here. Because if he really cared about being present at his friend's wedding, he would have made proper plans for his son to be taken care of. And, in what world does this man live in? How does he think it's right to ask his wife, or anyone else, to miss work so he can go to a wedding? And it's not even so she can go with him, but so she can stay home and take care of his son. There wasn't anyone else to take care of the boy? His mother? His grandparents? Any of his friends or the boy's friends' parents? No one? And I ask again, how can he think his wife should miss work for anything other than an emergency? Either he thinks the world revolves around him, or he has no respect for you, your work, or your choices. And unfortunately, maybe it's all of the above. Your husband is the idiot here, OP, not you. He's an idiot, a bad husband, and a bad father, since he purposely put his son in a situation where he could end up alone at home. Anyway, not the idiot. And what did you guys think of this whole situation? What advice would you give OP on how to deal with her husband? Do you think she should have missed work? Do you think she should have stayed with her stepson? Or do you think the husband is in the wrong from the beginning here? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Now let's read what people had to say in the comments. In general, I don't think I could recover romantic affection for someone who executed a premeditated plan that was so manipulative and disrespectful. But consider, too, a basic survival rule of thumb: do not stay with a partner who is undermining your employment. Jobs suck, so it sucks to say, but your job is also your health insurance and the income you need to secure safe housing. Someone who is messing with your job is messing with the life preserver you will need to leave the relationship if their behavior becomes too dangerous or denigrating. Exactly, it's not like I said, I might consider it or something like that. I gave a resounding, no, yet that wasn't clear enough. He thinks that I should put him and his son first, then worry about work. What he doesn't understand is that I need to work to be able to take care of the family. Yeah, he knows, he just don't care. Oh, wow. Not the idiot, you know this isn't going to work out, right? He blamed you for what he did. He ditched his son without having a plan in place for somebody to watch him. You weren't going to the wedding because you had to work. If you had been able to take off work, you would have gone to the wedding, and he would have needed to find someone to watch his son. I'm assuming you married him to be his wife, not to be his son's stepmom. I would leave and tell him to suck it up. Not the idiot. He just sneaky ditched his child with someone, assuming they'd skip work, and you're the irresponsible person? Are you kidding me? Do not get pregnant. This is what he thinks women are for, when there are kids around. Good point. Glad OP doesn't have kids with him yet. Her shiny spine here with her boundaries is beautiful and I love it so much. Not stepmom material, he's not dad material. Not the idiot, he needs to get his shit together. You probably should have just tried to hire a babysitter or something, but if you really couldn't, your actions are totally reasonable. I really don't see why she should have done his work of finding a babysitter. That's emotional labor, especially since she already suggested this. He's not dad or husband material. And what about you guys? Do you agree with the comments? What else would you advise OP to do? Do you think she should have tried to find a solution before taking her stepson to the wedding? Do you think she should start thinking about divorcing her husband? Or do you think their relationship can improve? Don't forget to leave what you think in the comments down below. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Am I the idiot for my response after my brother-in-law said my dress was inappropriate for a family gathering? Ugh. Hear me out. So my brother-in-law, my husband's brother, was married to a woman from Greece. Her name is Nana, and the reason for their divorce was because of how much my conservative brother-in-law tried to control her clothes and the places she went. He didn't want the divorce and was hoping Nana would accept the life he offered and stay, but she didn't. Yeah, I don't blame her. This happened 2 years ago. He now moved back with my in-laws and we'd see him more often. He tried to comment on how I dress on multiple occasions, and it's unbearable, but since my in-laws said he's struggling and depressed, I just let it go. On Friday, my in-laws celebrated my husband's 30th birthday at their home. I wore a heart-shaped blue dress and had my hair up. While we were eating, my brother-in-law pointed at me and said that my cleavage was showing, and that I shouldn't have worn this dress, because it looked inappropriate for a family gathering. I was utterly shocked. Everyone was staring at me, and I felt so embarrassed and on the spot. He looked at me, waiting for me to blow up probably, but I laughed and told him. Knock, knock, he said. Who's there? I said, Nana. Now he paused and seemed confused at the mention of this name. He then faked a laugh and said, Nana who? I said, Nana your goddamn business what I'm wearing, okay? He got upset and quickly left the table. My sister-in-laws laughed, but my husband and his parents were upset, and later said that I was way out of line for bringing up Nana to brother-in-law, knowing how heartbroken and depressed he is because of her. His mom said that I was petty, and didn't need to dig at him just to prove a point. My husband thinks I'm in the wrong as well, and that I was being deliberately hurtful by bringing up Nana. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the idiot. I could be the idiot cause I made a response that upset my brother-in-law and made him uncomfortable and insulted in front of the family. Yeah, I think your brother-in-law needs to be insulted a little, if he likes to insult others so much. And your response to his comment was nothing compared to what he really deserved. Your husband and in-laws are coddling him because he's heartbroken, but that doesn't mean he can go around insulting people around him, much less that people have to accept these insults quite. As we already know, being the major reason for the end of his marriage, he's a misogynist who wants women to behave the way he wants, and do what they are told, and when he made that comment, he was expecting you to make a fuss, call him names, and he would play the victim, and say something like, you see, she's crazy, hysterical, and I wouldn't doubt he tried to do the same with his ex-wife. She ran away from him, from this family and from this marriage, and nothing you say makes me think that your husband and in-laws have the same convictions as him, yet. But keep your eyes and ears open, because if they are not stopping this behavior of his or defending you when he makes these comments, it makes me wonder if some part of them agrees with him. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you have done if you were OP? What kind of answer would you have given to brother-in-law? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Now let's read what the comments say. Not the idiot, what the F? He drove his wife away by trying to police her clothes, and he has the sheer nerve to bring that subject up with you? You didn't need to dig in to show him that his ex-wife was not an aberration. Any woman would find it abhorrent to have a man dictate what she can or cannot wear. Exactly, he needed to hear it, and kudos to OP for saying it. Dude is doubling down on his misogyny, and his parents and OP's husband are enabling him. Not the idiot, you should put the heat on your husband and ask him, why do you think I should accept your brother disrespecting me? Do you think it is acceptable for him to speak to me like that? If your husband is willing to just sit by and let his brother act like a pig, because it doesn't affect him, he isn't being a good partner. Just this, OP. Nana left because that shit is creepy and offensive. Do you really want to test our marriage too by backing up your disgusting brother? You've already seen that a reasonable woman would consider this a deal breaker. You really want to test it further? Not the idiot. Not the idiot, I sincerely doubt he's, quote, heartbroken and depressed. I suspect his ego is wounded because his ex resisted his attempts at control. What he said to you was entirely inappropriate. It's also entirely inappropriate that his family continues to enable his behavior. And what about you guys? Do you agree with the comments? What else would you advise OP to do? Do you think her husband or in-laws should have done something to defend OP? Do you think they didn't do it because they agree with brother-in-law? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Now let's go to the last story. Removal of a table in my big boss office. When I was in the military, I worked in an office. This office has several rooms. My superior and his superior, big boss, work in the same room, but I work in a room several doors down. For context, big boss had a certain way of doing things, which was admittedly a little weird sometimes. But he really hated it when people changed the way he did things. I always knew this, and so I always just left Big Boss to his own devices. The easiest way to make Big Boss happy was to literally just give him what he wanted, doing the most unimportant and minor things, just the way he liked it, but that's a story for another day. Now, Superior and Big Boss often have differing ideas and different ways of doing things, and Superior really doesn't like it when I contradict him. For context, a few months before this incident, we just had quite a major structural adjustment in preparation for a large military operation. Superior wanted to lay out things a certain way. I disagreed. My disagreement made my superior very angry, because I should not be questioning him, and he told me not to question his judgment of how things should be laid out in our office again. One day, Superior asks me to move the table out of the room, when Big Boss wasn't in. Me, are you sure Big Boss would like this? Superior, just do it, and stop asking so many questions. Me, okay then. Moves table out of Big Boss office. Cue several hours later, who moved this table out of my office? Big Boss voice can be heard several doors down. The dressing down could be heard several doors away. Big Boss could be heard going off on my superior too for several minutes. After that incident, my superior gave me less of that just do it attitude until I left the military. LOL, here's the lesson guys, listen to the people around you, even if you're the boss, it doesn't mean you know everything. If OP's boss had listened to him, he wouldn't be in trouble with his own boss, LOL. And that's it for today everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, Go watch the video that is appearing on the screen right now or click on one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.